Hey, I'm gonna be on here super long. Like I said, I got court in the morning. If you saw the title. Got to get to bed early. Be there early. The thought of being late to something like court or something like official makes me like sick to my stomach. I don't know if it's where I was in the military or anxiety. I don't know. It makes me sick to my stomach to just think about being late, potentially being late. Oh, great. Make it all about you, Itsuko. I see how it is. Now it's all about your day.
Listen up,
That was pretty good timing right there. It all went off at the same time, beeping, music's done, who knows?
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Oh, welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. I won't be on here long tonight, guys. I got to go to bed early. Got court in the morning. Can't talk a lot about it until we see how it goes, but be at court in the morning. Like I was saying earlier, just the thought of potentially being late to court in the morning makes my stomach hurt. It makes me like queasy. I don't know. Just a thought of potentially being late. Like I'm already fucking amped up for it. I might not even sleep tonight. I don't know. Fuck it. Anyways, we got court in the morning. By the way, today is Jan 6, you know, a special holiday for some of the people in the nation. It's like their Juneteenth, okay? And they tried to do a pilgrimage to D.C. to protest, or I guess like a thing for like the prisoners, right? Like they're gonna go talk about the political prisoners that Tim Pool says are in jail for tweeting, and they're headed up to D.C. today. So that was this live stream. Let's check it out.
You know what? Me personally, I'm already at the Capitol. I'm already yelling on my bullhorn. I already got my flag up in the air.
Now the reason they're talking about that, like, is because they're so far behind because of the winter weather. So he says, me personally, I'm already at the Capitol. I'm not going to let this weather that slowed us down. There's another granny here as well behind the chat. Let me see if I can get the chat down. Chat and backer. Boom. All right, so there's another granny over here. He's saying, me, you know, I'm already there. I'm not going to let this weather throw a wrench into these things. I'm already at the Capitol.
Get ready. Here we go. MAGA.
So they're literally throwing he's throwing his hands up. He's driving. He's throwing his hands up off the wheel, saying MAGA. Two grannies and this guy.
MAGA. Look at these roads, man. Look at these roads. God has cleared a path for us today.
Oh, no. God has cleared a path for us. That's not the last thing you want to say before you crash, is it?
Say it louder. MAGA.
Oh, here we go. God has cleared a path for us, guys. God has cleared a path for the maggots.
Come on. Shout it out loud.
Shout it out loud. God clearing a path. Oh, you're hitting some slush. Oh, you're out of your lane.
Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, overcorrected. Oh, fuck.
No.
We're done. We're done.
Oh.
We're done, guys.
Oh, shit.
We're done.
No, we're not. Oh, no. No, we're done.
The granny says, we're done. No, we're not. We're done. I'm sorry, we're done.
Oh, no.
We're done. We're done.
Oh.
We're done, guys.
Oh.
No, they honestly didn't even hit it. He way overcorrected. He must have, as soon as it went right, cranked the wheel all the way to the left. The best thing you do when you're a skid is whatever caused you to skid, stop doing it. So, like, if you accelerated and it caused a skid, let off the gas. If you're braking and it caused a skid, let off the brakes. If you're turning and it causes skid, straighten the wheel. Like the best thing you could do is whatever made you skid is to stop doing that fucking thing. That he cranks the wheel all the way to the left, but by the time he gets back a hold of it and it starts to come back to the right, it's actually a pretty shallow angle they hit at. So it looks bad right here. It's almost going to be a head-on collision. But this snow gives him more traction. He's able to straighten out some. So really, the last little part we see, it's almost like a side collision. He probably hit mostly the tire. The tire in the front fender. It's not going to let us get that frame. Damn it, Reddit video player. Anyways, it's not that bad. I mean, it's stopping the car. They're going to have it towed.
Oh, no.
We're done.
Who's going to be at the Capitol on this Jan 6?
We're done, guys.
Oh, shit.
We're done.
No, we're not. Oh, no. No, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, no, we're done.
Jamie.
We just destroyed the car. We're done.
Shit.
We're okay.
Everybody say MAGA.
Call 911, please. We're going to cut the stream right now. We are all okay.
We're okay.
We're all okay.
I mean, such damage.
All right? We are all okay.
Yeah, the door is kind of stuck.
We'll be fine. All right? We love you all.
We made it, guys. In my head, I'm already in DC with my megaphone out. It was live. This is just a clip. The cult headquarters over on Reddit clipped it. God heard that comment and blocked the road. Nah, not today, idiot. That was God speaking. The Dems made it snow, causing the wreck. I can tell. Exactly. Humans cannot impact the weather with CO2, but governments can change the weather with chemtrails, and God changes the weather when you want to drive to D.C. Or do mind control, the gift of gab, no charisma. Nope. It's got to be chemicals in the air. I had an Uber driver recently tell me that the government controlled the weather. Listen, one of Mariah's family members alluded to the fact that while we were going through the flood and shit, that it was awful that the government would do that to us. If he would have stayed, we'll pull it back up. If he would have stayed in his lane, so the lane was clear. He was right. He hits the center slush. So see how this slush is pushed to the center? So basically these tires and the friction, but being on the road, melt the ice, right? But people don't drive half in each lane, right? They drive in a pretty predictable track. So the slush that's left all gets pushed to the center and pushed to the edges. His tires hit the slush in the center. I don't know what. I guess he was maybe trying to get back. He was passing the car, maybe trying to get back in the slow lane. So see all this slush right here? You can see it right in the center of the lane. Let me put the chat back up. You see the slush in the middle of the lane. It gets worse after he comes off this.
Shout it out loud.
So more slush in the center. You see it building up. Slush. And you can even see this isn't water. It's slush because like an icy mix with water, because you can see tire tracks are holding in it, right? So he gets his driver's side tire in this, and there's probably another set of it right here at the white line. So now he's just driving on ice. He's literally hitting this patch and this patch. And that was it. And then he's got to way overcorrect here. Sorry, I'm pausing it too fast. He's got to way overcorrect here. Because when he catches traction, so as soon as he's back in the lane, if his wheels would have been straight, when he got back in this lane, out of this slush and that one, he would have been going straight again. Oh, yeah, it's a Trump car. It's a Trump-wrapped car. Somebody had this guy's car before on here. But instead, when he finally catches traction, his wheels are pointed as hard left as they fucking go. And then you're done. You can't save this. Not as fast as you're going.
Oh, no.
God, imagine if he killed 2 grandmas on the way to D.C. with collectively 160-year-old vagina in the back.
Oh.
We're done.
Oh.
We're done, guys.
Oh, shit.
We're done.
No, we're not. Oh, no.
I like how he says, they're like, the woman instantly is like, we're done. We're done. Take me back to the nursing home. And he's like, no, we're still good. It's like, oh, we're done. Yeah, we're done. That's my favorite part.
Oh, no.
We're done.
Oh.
We're done.
Oh.
We're done, guys.
Oh, shit.
We're done.
No, we're not. Oh, no. No, we're done.
That was his it's probably a front-wheel drive car, the axle shafts. The half shafts just fucking either out or broken or something. Sounds like a transmission trying to kick in when he went to pull out. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. That made my January 6th. I don't know about you guys. That made my January 6th. I want to see what this video is. Is that Dan Blazerian or whatever his name is? This is from Oompaville. Like I said, I'm not going to be on here long, but we'll watch a couple videos and hang out. Hopefully I can tell you more about court tomorrow. I don't know. I might not be able to tell you anything. If it just gets continued, then there's not much I can tell you, but I do have my manifesto ready to go. That's what I'll be showing up with, and we'll go from there.
King of Instagram? I thought he was the king of Instagram. He's pretty cool. I'm sure you've heard.
I know like 3 or 4 years ago, Dan Blazerian was outed that, so he's a guy that goes around claiming that he won all this money gambling and he has Instagram models and titties everywhere and jet setting. And like 3 years ago, he was in a lawsuit and a lot of his income stuff came up and he basically just has a sugar daddy. So he rents a house. He doesn't own it. Someone else pays the bill. All of his credit cards are paid by someone else. He's got like all of these elite, special, black, platinum credit cards. They're all paid by someone else. All this came out in a lawsuit 2 or 3 years ago. And I remember everybody on Reddit talking about it.
Of Dan Bilzerian, a very famous guy who in 2014 boasted a net.
He's even been on Joe Rogan a couple times just because he posts, like you'll see him like, let's say he's at like poolside in like a vacation spot with like blue water, white sand. He got like 30 girls with him. And he'll be like, wonder what I'm going to wear tonight for all of my girlfriends and shit like that. Like, I don't know. It's just cringe content, I think. But I guess some people enjoy looking at it.
Net worth of $100 million, flaunting private jet, luxury car, and endless party, all on Instagram. The king of the influencers was Dan Bilzerian, the 2014 king of influencers.
Yeah, back in the day. He's not shit now, but back in the day, he was a big deal. And he probably still has millions of followers.
That and PewDiePie. By 2023, let's say, his empire has crumbled completely. He is left facing.
So he did have this crazy, he's went anti-Semitic. That was the most recent news that I've seen about him. Super anti-Semitic, saying that the Israel knew about the October 7th attack. They killed their own people. They're using it to just attack the Palestinians. Not that they all killed their own people, but they knew it was coming, and Israeli soldiers went out and killed their own people, making it worse than what it actually was.
Bankruptcy and various legal troubles, the king of Instagram has lost it all. This is a ton of information, and a lot of it I didn't know existed. Yeah, I've kind of kept up with the Dan Bilzerian situation now for a few years, and he's failed. He's got the Ignite thing. He's like, oh, Dan Bilzerian. He lies. He's got a really shapely, geometric beard with thousands of polygons. He seemed all right in the beginning, really masculine playboy, whatever but now
there's some of his content.
He's embarrassing and cringe, and I just don't like it much. I don't watch his stuff. I don't think he posts anymore. I don't watch his podcast.
I really like Oompaville's channel. If you guys don't follow him, go over and check him out on YouTube. Oompaville.
That's for sure. I actually don't have any idea if he has a podcast, but it's a solid guess if anybody has a podcast nowadays. In 2014, Dan Bilzerian burst onto the social media scene with an audacious claim. He's the $50 million high-stakes poker guy.
Son of a running force.
He was widely reported by media outlets like my favorite, the Daily Mail. Very reputable, very reliable, very non-biased. They dubbed him as the $100 million poker playboy.
Guns, cocaine-induced heart attacks, and a pet Bengal tiger biting a party girl's breast. The $100 million poker playboy Instagram king opens his heart and home to reveal what drives his lunatic lifestyle.
This all seemed to form the initial foundation for Dan Bilzerian.
This was a simpler time, by the way, when people weren't so worried about politics. So like influencers were a lot bigger deal.
Carefully constructed and now very public persona.
Or lifestyle. Now political influencers seem to be a big deal, but back then it was like lifestyle influencers were the thing.
Just managing all the cars and toys and boats and planes is a full-time job in and of itself.
The goal of that construction to succeed in the public eye, I guess. At this moment, his Instagram account immediately became a showcase of his extreme wealth, indulgence, and the luxurious life that he's living, and all the famous friends that...
It's all yachts and all these places that we could never afford to go, and tons of bitches for some reason.
To be honest, a lifestyle beyond the reach of most. Guns, cocaine-induced heart attacks, and a pet Bengal tiger biting a party girl's breast. No!
I've heard about that. I don't think I've never looked it up. I'm sure it exists, but I did hear about that he was freaking out during the Vegas shooting and told the cops to give him a gun, that he needed a gun and he could help.
$100 million to Playboy. Dude, shut the fuck up. He's basically the Liver King if the Liver King didn't eat liver. He's not the Liver King at all, dude.
So the Liver King is another guy that claims that basically all he eats is liver, and he's like this huge jack guy, and of course it came out he was on steroids. That's not a natural body for like a 56-year-old man.
The Liver King more than I like Dan Bilzerian. Naked women card, you get the fucking idea. The guy was a playboy. Posting all this crazy stuff caused his stock and following to grow rapidly, and he earned the moniker King of Instagram. He routinely garnered hundreds of thousands of likes and comments, etc. with posts like these. In the beginning, people wanted to be Dan Bilzerian. They said, oh, I wish I had 500.
He also had this ultra alpha, like, he would fight anybody at the drop of a hat, and he could destroy anybody with his bare hands kind of deal going on.
Women, me every day living my hedonistic lifestyle. Yay! I'm glad to be alive. Life is good. Me living my hedonistic lifestyle. Then after 3 years, I want to kill myself. Bilzerian. All my businesses have failed. Bilzerian's appeal was to young men, boys, whatever the people who really like the hyper-masculine persona. I don't know, the Andrew Tate kind of character, a lot of guns, beautiful women, the allure of wealth, success. I don't know, he's just like, I'm just kind of a contrarian, you know, I was Navy SEAL, got a heart attack, came back to life.
By the time I finally see this doctor, I can barely breathe, and he's like, holy shit, like you're having a heart attack. I've been in the waiting room for like 50 minutes, and so finally he gives me nitroglycerin, he like puts me in there, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna die for sure.
It was a potent mix of many different things that captivated millions of people. Now, as his star rose, there were signs of inconsistencies in the narrative he was pushing to craft his image. There was inconsistencies. Inconsistencies began to emerge. Professional poker players, for example, $50 million, $100 million poker playboy, industry experts, gambling experts, I guess, started questioning the feasibility of amassing such wealth through just poker alone. That's very difficult. He's one of the most prolific.
And that was his claim, that he made all this money just playing poker. He hit it rich, become a multimillionaire just playing poker. And back in the day, even when I was over in Iraq, dude, I remember me and my buddy, his name was Weedman, but I called him Wendelman. That's a whole different story. But we ran missions on opposite days. So basically when he was back, his platoon was back, our platoon was gone doing this QRF thing we were doing for a few months. And we would get in these huge poker tournaments, like these World Star poker tournaments. And it'd be like a fucking anywhere between like a $2 and a $100 buy-in or whatever. And some of them would take like 30 or 40 fucking hours. So we would swap off and play these poker tournaments. We won, and not like the whole thing, like $1 million tournament. We won a lot of times our money back, or double or tripled our money. Lost a lot of money too, but it was something to do while we were in Iraq.
Poker players of all time.
So you used to be able to play pretty easily online with actual money. They've limited that a lot now.
Look at him. His geometrical beard does not look like a beard of a successful poker player. This is what successful poker players look like. Just kidding, that was a random guy. This is what successful poker players look like. That was a real one, sorry. Poker geniuses in the field were like, hey, how can you win so much money without leaving a significant and transparent, obvious trail of tournament results or game records? You just kind of appeared out of nowhere. And
right, so if he had won $50 million, surely from playing poker, then they'd be like, okay, he won this tournament, he placed third in this tournament, he won this one, he won that, something, but there's no records of him even playing poker.
It got really
at that level.
Where's your money coming from? It's probably not poker. That doesn't make any sense. Alternative explanations for his wealth and fortune began to grow. Some speculation, okay, guys? Maybe he's a little Nepo baby or whatever. That's not a Nepo baby. What's the one where you silver spoon? Whatever, we got rich parents, whatever. I got poor parents. I pay my parents now. It's awesome. I love my parents.
My back hurts, man. I can't move my hips. I can't move my hips like I do that.
That's his actual dad.
The increasing scrutiny of the public began peering like Sauron into Bilzerian's family history, particularly the financial history of Dan Bilzerian's father, Paul Bilzerian. That's a cool name, Bilzerian. That's a really cool Armenian name. I like Armenia a lot. I'm a huge fan of Armenia. Shout out Armenia. Dumbass.
Oh, you're good.
By the way, just saying. I'm just gonna put that out there. That's stupid. So why were so many seasoned poker players skeptical of Dan Bilzerian's $50 million in poker winnings? What is a really famous guy?
Even places like news agencies, like Fox News and places, started bringing him in when there was like a topic about gambling and introducing him as like a professional gambler, but no one even checked.
King of Instagram know about poker that we don't know, said the poker players. The first cracks in the levee of Dan's lies reached a turning point in 2017 when a fellow by the name of Doug Polk, a respected professional poker player, the guy we showed when we talked about poker players that are professionals, he released a video analyzing Dan Bilzerian's poker skills.
Dan, however, sticks to the story. He made all of his money from poker. And while that seems to be very unlikely to me, we're never actually going to know for sure because he does play a lot of high-stakes poker and probably has won a lot of money there as well.
Polk's assessment was far from flattering. He stated, all in all...
But he bankrolled his whole lifestyle off playing poker. I doubt that. Like...
While Dan did play very aggressive, I wouldn't say he played all that great. In fact, there was some serious button clicking going on in this match. Now, I don't know what the that means, but I'll tell you what, it's a good way to erode your credibility in regard to poker when Dan Polk is saying you're button clicking in the match. Apparently, that's not good. Thank you, friend of the show, Dan Polk. The belief that Dan is just a rich boy with wealthy parents is really starting to burgeon, okay? And in 2021, Doug Polk invited Dan on a podcast to talk with him about his poker skills and stated that he should just come out as the rich guy instead of hiding behind the facade that he made all of his money on poker.
I think a lot of that stuff comes across.
So, when you're playing poker... I don't know if this is the same at the table, but when you're playing poker and someone calls you a button clicker or says you're just button clicking when you're playing online, you don't really have a strategy, right? Like it would be like someone's just like, fuck it. You have like a 3-7 offsuit and you're like, fucking raise. Like it's not a bluff. You just fucking clicking shit to see what works, right? And some people do luck up and win hands there, but very rarely will you win a tournament like that. You might win a hand. You might even win a table. But like when we're talking about like multi-table tournaments, you're probably not going to win a tournament that way.
A lot weaker than just being rich. Let the fish tank speak for you. I don't see a reason to have to throw that stuff in all the time.
You can't lie about stuff like that. It's the internet. You could do that in the 90s. Isn't it crazy that you could just lie about shit and have like other families and stuff?
Don't just have a second family. Have a third family in Santa Fe with an alternative lifestyle.
I miss the good old days.
Dude, when I worked at the railroad, there's a guy at the other end of our railroad line that had a completely different, a separate family with a kid, a wife that didn't know about his first family here at home. How crazy is that?
That'd be crazy to just go to another town and have another family. You could do that. My grandfather did that. He didn't do that. He didn't. I just lied. Anyways, Dan Bilzerian's got the jets, the girls' mansion, whatever. Dude, who cares about the poker thing? Your lies are falling apart. To be fair, he did eventually admit to the rich claim, but also stated that he was good at poker and not just a rich kid. But that's jumping ahead a little bit. We got to go back further. The skepticism of the poker community was really the catalyst for the downfall of Dan Bilzerian. Genuinely, this is like the first kind of pen. It's money, losing money, making weed company failing, dying, no more money, bankruptcy, SEC, fraud, FBI. Hey now, come on, dogs. Because once again, extraordinary claims in any competitive event, sport, I almost called it a sport, they leave a trail of evidence, especially when you make $50 million. There's a lot of high-profile game right there, but shit. Now, to talk about...
The only time when I saw him getting invited to these poker tournaments was not because he was like a champion or because he won previously or because what he was getting these invitation poker tournament bids just because he already invented his persona as a poker player already.
Paul, the father of Dan B, a man whose actions in the 1980s cast quite a long shadow over his son's future claims of self-made wealth.
He's transferred substantial assets into a complex ownership structure of offshore trusts and family-owned companies and partnerships.
What secrets lie hidden in the elder Bilzerian's past? What horrors? Cosmic in origin? No, financial. White-collar shit. All right. Paul made a name for himself as a corporate raider during the 1980s, and he had aggressive takeover strategies and was involved in financial fraud and became the subject of intense scrutiny himself.
Convicted of fraud, conspiracy, and other charges.
At one time, this was also when I was in the military. At one time, I had a big plan to go fucking take a bunch of money from Vegas. Like I spent like 2.5 years practicing counting cards.
1989, Mr. Bilzerian remained entrenched in this palace for 2 decades while SEC lawyers were trying to collect the $62 million Mr. Bilzerian owed the U.S. government. A judgment he says was unjust.
In 1988, Paul's activities caught up with him when he was convicted of securities fraud and conspiracy to defraud the United States of America. Yeah, you can't do that, you some bitch. The consequences were severe, resulting in a 4-year prison sentence and substantial financial penalties.
For like a year or two, everybody was like, oh, your dad's going to jail, and my dad was always telling me like there's no chance I'm going to jail. He's like this eternal optimist. I think the hardest part of it was knowing that I had to go into school and like face all the kids after a year of saying that he's not going to jail and then being wrong and looking like an idiot.
In 1991, Paul
there you go. Should have bet on
claiming his debts exceeded $140 million, and that filing appeared to signal the end.
So Paul's his dad.
End of this man's financial
securities fraud.
However, there were allegations that surfaced soon after that contradicted the bankruptcy claims. There were reports that suggested Paul had hidden significant assets in offshore accounts. Which that did turn out to be absolutely true. This guy looks like he's got a little money hidden overseas. Okay, you know who else has got money hidden overseas? I don't have any money, dude. I'm bro. I'm so running a gaming company is very difficult, extremely difficult to fund. But it is my passion, and I will do it until I burn up and die into a blaze of glory. I've been working 16 hours a day for weeks now. I'm gonna die for sure. I'm gonna die before the end of the year, and it's December 28th. All right. I will die in 3 days. By the time this video comes out, I'll be.
I got pretty good. You kind of need a team. You don't have to have a team. You increase for the amount of effort you put in. If you have more people doing the same thing, it makes it a lot easier. If you go in there by yourself, and then they're always watching for somebody who can count cards, always, right? And then you're going to get escorted out.
Dead. Rest in peace. Comment rest in peace, Oompaville, in the comments. Let's see if we can convince people that I died. Hey, I heard you died. Say that. I heard you died. I heard you died. I did. But before I die, go sour.gg and buy some candy. We release a new flavor every week. And by the time this video comes out, we might have substantially cheaper shipping. If not, click on the email list, become an email. Dude, we got big plans in 2025. I'm so grateful to be part of this brand. It's my brand. We make our own candy. It's awesome, dude. It's so cool. It doesn't make any money. It hasn't made any money. Hopefully now with the cheaper shipping and actually offering and kind of expanding in certain areas, we worked on our presence and the quality of the product and just testing the novelty to see if it even is feasible. Do people even like it? That's what we did in 2024. Now we're going to try to scale to make it cheaper, more affordable for everyone, and yeah, actually make a little money. Because I tell you what, man, it's burdensome. It's burdensome. So go buy some candy. I'm an excellent salesman, but at the end of the day, it is just candy and you don't have to buy it. Shipping will be cheaper very soon. Headlines like this paint a very different story. Maybe Dan Bilzerian inherited a substantial portion of his wealth from his father. We call it the inheritance hypothesis, and it holds some water. It's a compelling narrative explanation. I mean, look at that. That is a crazy headline. Paul A. Bilzerian ran cannabis company while...
Yeah, so you're just looking at the cards on the table, right, to play blackjack. So like you're keeping a running count. So a 2 to a 6, 2 through 6 would be like a +1. If anybody, the dealer, your hand, the people's hands beside you, if a 2 through a 6 comes up, that's a +1, okay? And then if a 7 through a 9, that's neutral, right, a 0. And then if a 10 through an ace, a face card comes up, that's any face card or 10 is -1. And you keep a running count. And the higher the count, the more likely it is that another face card will come up, right? So that's when you want to bet. People have different times that they go in, depending on what their count is. But you could be sitting there with like a fucking still on a 0, right? Several hands in just because the cards were mixed very well. Or you could be sitting at like a +3 or +4.
Owing government more than $180 million, feds allege. It's a very Dan Bilzerian thing to do. Oh, that's not from the 80s or 90s either. That's from 2024. He was indicted in September by a federal grand jury in California for allegedly dodging that judgment from the SEC back then, which is now over $180 million. So, Dan Bilzerian isn't the bad boy poker playboy. He's actually a baby boy who's using daddy's money. This is one facet of the entire story. The next facet is the House of Cards, which is his own, like father, like son brand Ignite, which is a CBD brand, okay?
Man, we've just like gone all these different directions, but we're out.
That's called the high-low method. You can also assign a number value to each card, but all face cards are still going to be the same because they're worth the same. But the high-low method is when you just split it into 3 stacks. So you have -1, 0, and +1.
Landed is nicotine, alcohol, and energy. I'm so happy to be out of cannabis, to be honest with you.
In 2017, Dan Bilzerian launched Ignite International Brands, which is a lifestyle brand and has CBD products, beverages, nicotine. I don't know, dude. It was basically his version of Sour Boys. He marketed it heavily on his social media, and it was to appeal to young people, predominantly a male demographic. You've seen some of the adverts. I'm sure you've seen this logo. It was really successful for a while. I even inadvertently bought some CBD pens a long time ago. Hemp.
CBD, cannabidiol, is not habit-forming, not mood-altering, and now legal in all 50 states.
They were legal in Virginia at the time. Virginia has since legalized marijuana in general, or cannabis, but at the time I bought these, it was still hemp.
Yeah, when you want to know how to bet, it depends on how many decks they're running, right? So like a lot of casinos do like multi-deck now, but if they're just running 1 deck, you could just be plus like 2, right, and start betting. But if they're running, let's say they're running 6 decks, right? You could get up. You might not start to bet until they're like +5 or better, right? And then there's not that many. You're also counting how many cards are remaining, right? So maybe +5 or better when you're expecting only 1 deck to be left.
CBD. They did nothing. They literally did nothing. And I just threw them away because I thought it was lame. It was to help anxiety. I had heard that CBD helps anxiety, and it really doesn't, to be honest. 2 years later, in 2019, Ignite reported a $50 million loss. Staggering! What the fuck? How do you manage a company so poorly that they lose $50 million? I mean, I got a candy company. I tell you what's hard, and we're not up to $50 million yet. We kind of break even. All right, we kind of break even each month. It's pretty cool. Pretty chill. I know about this, though. That's the point. I keep bringing up my own businesses because I know about this. I'm kind of a candy playboy. This insane revelation of the $50 million loss caused investors and observers of the industry to examine Ignite's business practices and its expenditures. How do you lose $50 million in a company that's publicly traded? Oh, that's right, because company funds are being misused to support Dan Bilzerian's extravagant lifestyle, allegedly. So this was stuff like yacht.
I think he went too easy on Mr. Beast as well. But I think his explanation was probably pretty good of why he did it that way.
Rental, London trip, Star Wars set, bed frame, paintball field, vault. Some former employees and some financial records indicated that Dan Bilzerian was taking out personal.
Yeah, so you have a running count, right? So you take your, let's say your running count is, let's just make it easy, +5, okay? And you think there are 5 decks left. You take your running count divided by the number of decks left, I think. Running count divided by the number of decks left, and that's your true count. So if your count is +5, but there's 5 decks remaining, then your actual count is only 1. But if your running count is +5 and there's only 1 deck remaining, then you're actually +5.
Expenses and leveraging them against the beat sheet of his business, disguising his personal expenses as business costs. So he'd buy like a large foam finger and write it off. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but that's a good way to lose $50 million a year. You can't do that though. It's a publicly traded company. This info came out in 2020 and was the result of a lawsuit from.
This is the lawsuit that came out a few years ago.
An ex-employee. And the company went public in 2019, a year before all this came out. Some of Ignite's business expenses were a $40,000 rock climbing wall installed at Dan Bilzerian's personal residence that was billed to the company. Also $130,000.
A $40,000 rock climbing wall billed to the company.
Photo shoot in the Bahamas. I assume it was for marketing purposes, but that's excessive. Let's be real. I mean, pay me. I'll take pictures. 130 grand. Pay me right now. I'll take pictures of great ones. Look at the cool rock wall, dude. That's cool, dude. I love rock walls. Eventually, Curtis Heffman, the former president of the company, filed a lawsuit against Dan Bilzerian. He was fired from the company for questioning these inappropriate expenses and attempting to maintain a level of proper financial oversight like a president would do of anything, really. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff there, guys. What a genius. Like, I get it. If you got a small business and you're making a lot of money and you're just like the main guy.
I was hoping something new came out about him, but it doesn't seem
it's
that
not a public company. Use money to do.
That's all stuff I've heard
I understand
before.
people do that all the time. They write stuff off all the time that shouldn't be written off. Eventually, it will come back to haunt you. You will get audited. You will have to pay on that misused money. But Uncle Sam don't like waiting. You gotta walk the line when it comes to Uncle Sam, especially making a lot of money. Yeah, that's right. But this is terrible. There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of board members. It's publicly traded. There's investors. Crazy. The SEC launched an investigation into the company's practices, and they uncovered evidence of financial fraud.
There's a lot more shady stuff you can hide in a company that is not public, right? If it's not traded, if you don't have investors and stocks and shit, SEC breathing down your neck, there's a lot more shady shit. A lot of companies get busted on shady practices when they try to go public, because they've been doing it for so long, they don't even think of it as being shady, or maybe they've justified it some way after doing it for so many years, and then they go public and get busted with shit.
Fraud. SEC findings showed that Ignite had issued false invoices totaling around $5 million for products that were never ordered. What the fuck? That's some breaking.
So clearly you can't do this. You can't produce false invoices just to get investors. The same reason that we were talking about Rumble, their viewership count. So a lot of people want to say like Rumble viewership count is like bullshit. It could be, but they're risking a lot. Right, I know their algorithm's different, like what they count as a view in, view out. So basically when someone shows up and someone leaves, how long do they hold on to that viewer? That's a little bit longer. So it leads to inflated viewer numbers, but they're not just making it up, right? They're not just adding 1 million viewers to somebody. They'd be getting in a lot of trouble for that.
Bad type shit right there, bud. And most surprisingly of all of this, the SEC complaint indicated that Paul, the father of Dan Bilzerian, fraudster, criminal, literal criminal, played a significant role in controlling the finances and orchestrating the fraudulent activities of Ignite. Dude, what the
Oh, no.
I mean, how can you...
His literal sugar daddy.
He's so stupid and such a scamming scumbag piece of shit. This, all as you can imagine, has led to quite the disaster for the social media presence of Dan Bilzerian, specifically his Instagram. He almost had 32 million followers, or he had over 32 million at one point, now has less, and he hasn't posted since August of this year. No! How am I gonna get envious? How am I gonna get jealous of others and their wealth and spending? He's on Joe Rogan now. All you see him doing is failing and being talked about by commentary YouTubers. Terrible dude. Embarrassing.
Ignite, which was his CBD company or whatever, negative 82.65%.
Dude, the lawsuits, the involvement of his father, who he's a weed fraudster for sure. And in addition to the federal SEC investigation and the financial practices surrounding Ignite, he's also faced some personal legal challenges. For example, there was a lawsuit where he kicked somebody in the head, a model in the head. That eventually did close without criminal charges. But like, how do you get sued for kicking somebody in the head? Is it because you kick somebody in the head and you settle out of court? Sure, I'll give you $50,000. Sorry for kicking in the head. Sorry. As of September 2023, Dan is now selling his Las Vegas mansion, which is gigantic, and he's moving to Dubai or whatever.
So I guess this is kind of recent, right? selling his Las Vegas mansion.
I don't even know, dude. Why would you build this? Look at the pictures of this place. It's insane. It's so unnecessary and so dumb. And just, I mean, you gotta be such a freak, weird, narcissist, vain, just goober to want to live. It's unsustainable excess that means nothing. It's completely meaningless. I love my hedonist lifestyle. I love my hedonist lifestyle. Yay! 3 years later, I want to kill myself. Dan has seemed to retreat a bit from the spotlight. He's kind of taken more of a serious turn in his latest content. He's very anti-Semitic now, but that wasn't.
Oh, that's the Israel stuff.
From August 16, 2023, all the way to June 2nd, 2020, seemed to retreat a bit from the spotlight. He's kind of taken a serious turn in his latest content. He's very anti-Semitic.
Israel is a parasitic organism living off America while providing us zero benefit. We are funding their war crimes, and they've compromised our government.
Now, but that wasn't just recently. From August 16, 2023, all the way to June 2nd, 2024, he didn't post at all. I know his most recent post was in August of this year, but my God, we've only had a couple Dan B posts. No, we can't have that. I love Dan Bilzerian. His most recent posts are very critical of Israel, and specifically, I believe that's one of the reasons why he's moving to Dubai. I don't know if he is genuinely cares about people and wants, human suffering to end. It seems like he doesn't. Maybe he just wants an investor. I really don't know what his why he's doing this. He is genuinely a guy who has done nothing other than make decisions to be a hedonist and to be a massive piece of shit and to be as surface level as humanly possible. So I wonder where his newfound activism is coming from. I really wonder where it's coming from. What is his reasoning for that? Luckily, we have a deep dive into his mind, a little bit of insight. In an interview earlier this year with Chris Williamson, Dan Bilzerian offered some insight into his decision to step away from social media. He said,
I was having sex with 3 girls a day on average. What I kind of landed on was I think it's like better to have a monogamous relationship. As strange.
Oh, he found God.
That is coming from me.
Monogamous relationship, I think, is probably the goal, is where you should, want to end, because I think that's where you'll be the happiest, because you can focus on your shit, you're not distracted, and it's pretty easy to keep one girl happy. I did it with like 100. So like one is peace, one is very simple.
Yeah, dude, crazy stuff, man. That's really wild. His personal values have changed drastically. He also likened his previous lifestyle to an addiction with the chase of thrills. I don't know, man.
I just beat all my addictions when I was writing my book. I beat my sex addiction, my gambling addiction, my weed addiction, which was actually one of the harder ones to beat. And then I kind of like went back into all that stuff, and then kind of beat it again. And I think when you beat it a second time, you're just like, okay, we got enough.
This comment here, I say, puts it absolutely.
How famous do you have to be before it's like you got to have written a book or had somebody write it for you? Let's be honest, but it seems like there's like a stage where everybody goes in and writes a book. Like somebody wants to read your shit.
Best. I don't believe anything he says. He's still just a rich kid seeking validation. That is exactly what it seems like to me. He just he burned out. He got shit on. Now he's got to find another audience that's going to accept him without questioning him and allow. It's really weird, dude. I don't like Dan Bilzerian. And now the latest is this: his convicted corporate raiding father and an article about his vaping company on the justice.gov website. No wonder he's running away to Dubai. No wonder. I don't know what exactly is going on here. I don't know if he's trying to blame this on the deep state. Dude, financial manipulation. Paul Bilzerian, deeply involved. His papa, $5 million in false invoices. That's what the SEC found. That's unbelievable. In my unprofessional opinion, I think that the possibility of an asset seizure makes perfect sense as to what Dan's most recent decisions are. He's going to run away. He's going to flee the country. Oh my God, my investment's dead for sure. I put 17,000 wampum in Ignite International Brands Ltd, aka Bills, on the trade. And now it's only at 55 cents. Oh, crap. Hey, now, dick shit. I said dick shit. Dipshit. So yeah, not exactly the turn you would expect to see going from this guy on Joe Rogan's podcast, the gambling playboy, to his father being installed in his vaping company and a lot of fraud and them facing charges, and now him running away to Dubai. And just what an interesting, deceptive human being, taking advantage of everyone's attention at every single turn and being purely dishonest from the beginning until the end. He was literally born out of dishonesty. His father, for example. I don't know why anyone would believe a single word.
Sure, he was born with it.
Says, or trust him, or think that the things he's saying are badass. Regardless,
it's like Trump being the ultimate businessman.
If there's nuggets of truth and
they're definitely selling the persona.
You gotta go out there, whatever the f says, you gotta build brands, build businesses. It's scary when people who are pupping these types of things, who are the hedonists with the money, a lot of people knew it was wrong from the very beginning. They always end up like this. They always end up absolutely failing. And dude, even the October shooting that happened a couple years ago, the country music shooting, the Stephen, whatever the guy with all the magic weapons in the casino in Las Vegas. I mean, this guy's a fool. He tried to ask a cop for the cop's gun, bro. What a dumbass. Nobody.
Oh, there it is. He even talked about it.
Deserves the downfall more than Dan Bilzerian. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.
All right, if you haven't been keeping up with this drama, I don't blame you. There's a lot of drama to be following, but this is the Australian Olympic breakdancer is now suing people that are trying to do parody of her and threatening to sue not only the comedian, but the venues, as well as claiming she owns the dance of hopping around like a kangaroo. This is an update.
Do you genuinely think you are the best female breaker in Australia? Well, it's a whole new year, and Raygun is still lying about being okay with legally protected parodies.
I love all the creativity and the interpretations and the things that it has sparked off, you know, be it like the celebration dance at the end of a sports game, or if it's a t-shirt, or if it's a windscreen wipers.
This is the same woman who, I'm pretty sure at the time of this recording, was going back and forth in a legal battle with comedians and comedy venues for doing her dance, for interpreting her work, and for parodying her. And here she is on red carpet events for who knows what event, talking about how much she loves parodies. But what does she think about parody merchandise?
I have already seen Christmas decorations. I've seen a Raygun nutcracker. I've seen Raygun baubles and things go on the tree. Some of them are really nice. I want some of these because some people...
God, I hate this woman.
If they're gonna use my image to make these beautiful things, can they at least give me some free copies? And maybe some royalties.
Ooh, so close to holding it.
Ooh, and maybe some royalties.
An instinctual demand for money there, Raygun. You almost nailed it. But it is good to hear that you are okay with parody merchandise. With that in mind, 1 second, I'll be right back. Ah, that's much better, isn't it? Almost forgot. The stupid hat. Guys, for a limited time only, the next 10 days at loosebeers.com, we're going to be selling this official Raygun parody poster, which I will be signing. And according to
this was what the poster it wasn't this comedian, it was a female comedian that was doing, and this guy came out in support of her. This is basically what the poster looked like, and it was Raygun, a parody like musical about her life and dance and interpretive dance and break dance and all that shit. It was pretty cool.
Raygun, that's totally fine by her.
Give me some free copies. And maybe some royalties.
Great idea about the royalties, Raygun. I love the enthusiasm. I'm sure demanding even more money from legally protected parody merch is going to go down really well in the public's eye. I'm sure your publicist is impressed with your aptitude for interviews. How about this? I've got a great idea. You're going to love it. Loosebeers.com. I'm selling this legally protected parody poster, and that is legal. Ask your lawyers. Maybe don't ask the lawyers you have now. Maybe get new lawyers and then ask them, and they'll probably give you an answer that is correct. But how about this? I'll give you the choice. Multiple choices. Either I will take 20% of the revenue from this poster and I will give it directly to you for your royalties, or I will take 20% of the revenue from this poster and donate it directly to a women's shelter of my choice. Up to you, Raygun. I know that sometimes comes up donating it to women in need versus pocketing it yourself. That's historically been a difficult choice for you, but I'm hoping that you will make the right one. You might be wondering, what about the rest of the money? That will go directly into my pockets, or fairly likely my lawyers.
We got a bunch of ice, and it wasn't even as bad here as it was just north of here. Like, we were mostly in the rain mix, but we did get a bunch of ice. Roads are slick.
Pockets to defend against a frivolous lawsuit. I'll let you decide, Raygun, where you want that money to go. And if you are watching this and you'd like to buy one of your own, loosebeers.com. It's on sale right now for the next 10 days.
You were being sued for a parody poster, and the winner is decided by a dance battle.
Fucking stupid. For real, please buy the poster. Do you know how much this costume cost me? It was like $60. I couldn't find a men's size. I'm wearing like a XXL women's, and I feel like I'm in a straitjacket. Please help.
We also just got a cease and desist from Raygun. Apparently you did a trademark pose, and now all the donation money actually has to cover the legal costs.
She does usually send friends to charity events. I forgot that. It's been a tough few weeks for Raygun, and after the controversy, it's had a lot of people scrutinizing how she even made it into the Olympics. And in this video, I'm going to have a look at how she was accepted and go through the conspiracy theory that many people are writing in the comments of all of my videos, that Raygun actually cheated her way into the Olympics, and it was all a scam.
All us judges talked about how she was going to get smashed. Absolutely smashed.
Of course, all of those claims are alleged, hearsay, and not asserted by me. We're just going to have a look at it. I'm Lewis Spears. Welcome back to the review. Like, subscribe, and let's break it down.
Lewis Spears is really funny. Check him out on YouTube.
My chances were slim.
Also, I'm doing my stand-up comedy tour. I start in Perth, January 17, and I'm going all over the country. Come see me live in 2025, loosebeers.com. It's going to be a laugh. Before we take a look at the claims that Raygun cheated her way into the Olympics, you've got to feel a little bit sorry for her. It's been a rough end of the year for Raygun. I mean, everyone has been making fun of her over the holiday period. She probably thought we were all going to take a break, but even Netflix has been getting in on the Raygun run.
Yeah, that's true, Bug Dude. Mariah got 8 inches. She's walked funny ever since.
Give it up for Australian breakdancer Raygun. Hi, Raygun. What's up? What's up? Woo! Yeah. Hey, if your name's Raygun, why do you dance like you're being tased?
If you thought that Raygun had even a little bit of a chance of a claim against Steph Woodbridge when it came to her parody show, this clip from Netflix really blows that out of the water. Of course, parody via comedy is completely legal, and you can see here that Netflix
parody is always protected. Well, in the US and in Australia, it's almost always protected.
Is just rubbing it in Raygun's face. They're doing her dance. They've got her costume on. They're calling her Raygun. They're implying that it is her, and that's perfectly legal because it is parody. It's even happening at a comedy show, and it's happening at like a multi-million-dollar event. If this was illegal, Netflix would not allow it to play.
2024 legend who got the...
So she can't bully Netflix, right, into dropping, because they know they got millions of dollars to fight illegal, blah, 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 whatever. But this one comedian that's doing a few shows in Australia, obviously she bullied them out of it. And honestly, the comedian wanted to keep it going, but the venue is who backed out.
Canceled. Raygun, your moves were so bad when the Special Olympics saw them, they were like, you know what, it's okay to say the word
And to be honest, I didn't really think this would be that bad for Ray Gun's reputation long term, because I thought that maybe it was only something that real comedy heads and Australians cared about. I didn't think it was a global issue at all. But you've got Netflix's biggest comedians roasting her on stage at the end of the year. And then when Robbie Williams, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, came over to Australia to do our New Year's Eve special, he pulled out some of Ray Gun's dance moves. Could you imagine being Ray Gun right now? I bet she would go out to a big New Year's Eve event. I bet she was like, we're just going to keep it to be a quiet one. We'll sit at home on the couch. We'll turn on ABC and we'll watch the New Year's Eve show. That's what everybody does when they don't want to have a big one. They sit at home and they watch the ABC New Year's Eve special. She's probably thinking, oh God, I could just switch the world off and relax. And then fucking Robbie Williams gets up and starts mocking you on stage and the entire audience audibly laughs. Sucked in, Ray Gun. And now that brings us to the great conspiracy theory, because I've been seeing this in comment sections under every one of my videos, in comment sections under every single post about Ray Gun. People are convinced that she cheated her way into the Olympics, and this is the conspiracy theory that other people are.
This is what I want to hear. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been wanting to get to the bottom of this. Somebody explain it to me.
The conspiracy is that Ray Gun, being a PhD educated academic with a specialization in breakdancing and the scene, used her know-how to set up several different government bodies that were in charge of the selection process that decided who was going to go to the Olympics. Her husband, a man named Sammy Free, is also a breakdancer who happens to be her coach. The biggest part of this claim is that Ray Gun's husband, who's her coach, was on the judging panel that made the decision to let Ray Gun win all of her battles and send her all the way to the Olympics, even though she was nowhere near qualified and would definitely lose. That is the claim. And this claim spread like wildfire all across the internet right after the Olympics. I'm sure you've heard of it before, and I'm sure that a lot of people watching this video actually believe it. I had a look at it and I thought, well, this sounds pretty compelling, and so did many other people, to the point where Change.org had a petition taken down by the Olympics who called it defamatory. The petition ended up with almost 50,000 signatures before the Olympics official body themselves had it taken down via legal threats.
Startling new details have emerged about how Ray Gun was able to qualify for the Paris Olympics.
Now, of course, this claim does sound very compelling, but I've done a lot of research into it, so have a lot of other people, including this amazing creator called Flesh Simulator, did a deep dive into this thing, and that is not true at all. Ray Gun did not
Flesh Simulator is another good creator.
Qualify because her husband was on the judging panel. She did not set up her own government bodies that then elected her to qualify. That is not what happened.
Okay.
However, that does not mean that this is not suspect at all, because the more you look into it, and especially the more you have a look at the evidence that Flesh Simulator presents, the more you start to realize that this is actually pretty fishy after all.
So I looked up 143 Liverpool Street Familia and found a member list. You almost got away with it.
Now I want to see. Hold on. Now I want to see this video. Because I like Flesh Simulator. He's kind of an acquired taste, but I like him a lot.
So if I had to guess, by this point,
it's only 4 minutes.
Video of Australian breakdancing lady, you know, the one who was like, I obviously can't play the clip without my channel being instantly sent to the YouTube shadow realm. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, during the Olympic women's breakdancing event, an Australian by the name of Rachel Gunn, aka B-Girl Ray Gun, went viral for having broke dunce. Real weird. The clip went viral. Information about her started coming out about like the fact she had a PhD in breakdancing, which is kind of an inherently funny concept. And then following that, rumors started flying about her having cheated her way to the Olympics. These claims were quickly widely debunked. But for the sake of context, here's the summary. The Olympics included breakdancing as a sport. There is no World Breakdancing Federation or anything like that, so the governing body ends up being a ballroom dancing organization called Dance Sport International. Each country competing has their branch of dance sport kind of partner with a breakdancing organization in that country in order to arrange the, preliminary qualifying events. Ray Gun is connected to Dance Sport, uses that leverage to convince them to partner with Ospreys, an org that she and her husband founded and that he was a panel judge for. Ray Gun's husband, Samuel Free, aka Sammy the Free, then awards Ray Gun the qualifying position to go to the Olympics. Again, this is the debunked story. This is the fake one, so stop typing. I'm not saying this happened. I'm saying this is the context of what was being debunked. I need to clarify this because I'm going to be swamped by the Genius Brigade. And so, anyways, this has been widely debunked and widely claimed fake, as shown here on Snopes and other sources. I'll have a list to scroll by because it's everywhere. And the point of these is as sort of an implication of, well, none of that happened at all. But hang on a second. What exactly was debunked? Well, it does in fact appear that Sammy the Free was in no way involved with Ospreys, and it's unlikely that Ray Gun helped found it, although she was, in fact, she was positively profiled by the Ospreys Facebook page less than 2 weeks after it was created, which is a little weird, kind of just circumstantial. Additionally, Ray Gun's husband, Sammy the Free, was not involved with the Oceania Championship at all, and as both Dance Sport and Ospreys are easy to point out, that judging process was done by an international panel of judges, none of whom were even Australian. But then, I found a research paper by Ray Gun, Dr. Rachel Gunn, from 2014, called Breaking Down Dominant Conceptualizations of Place, the Transgressive Potential in 143 Liverpool Street Familia's Engagement with the Downing Centre Courts. So I looked up 143 Liverpool Street Familia and found a member list. You almost got away with it, didn't you? Oh, nar, indeed. So it turns out this building had its own sort of oceanic breakdancing Illuminati associated with it. Both Ray Gun and Sammy the Free were members. The judges of every preliminary battle that Ray Gun won to make it to the Oceania Championships had at least one judge from 143 LSF, including on at least one occasion her husband. Because these are not Olympic, and I won't be put into an Iron Maiden for showing you these. Here is Ray Gun beating Holy Molly.
All right, let me slow this down. Okay, so this is actual competition. Let's see who does better. Objectively.
Be, put into an Iron Maiden for showing you these. Here is Ray Gun beating Holy Molly.
It's not horrible, right? It's breakdancing, right? It's shit I can't do. And this is Ray Gun doing it.
I'm not an expert, but
no.
But here is the really important bit. You know who else was a member of 143 Liverpool Street Familia? The New Zealand breakdancer Rush, aka Te Hiratanga Robert Wepiha. You know what else he did? He was a judge on the panel for the Oceania World Championship. So, it explains some stuff, doesn't it?
So it does seem like she kind of got there in a pretty shady way.
Didn't you? Oh, no, indeed.
This controversy spread so far and wide that the Olympics themselves had to respond because Ray Gun was going on interviews with Australian media to deny these allegations.
In the aftermath of your performance, it got pretty wild, actually. There were all kinds of conspiracy theories going on.
Gunn, who set up her own governing body for breakdancing, has manipulated the selection process.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories were just awful. That was upsetting because it wasn't just people that didn't understand breaking and were just angry about my performance. It was people that are now attacking our reputation and our integrity.
This got so big that the Australian Olympic Committee actually sent legal threats to Change.org to remove the petition and responded very publicly about what they thought of these allegations.
The AOC has demanded Change.org to take down the appalling petition, saying it contains numerous falsehoods designed to engender hatred. The petition has been signed by 48,000 people.
Now, I and a lot of
so now she's trying to take it down.
Absolutely.
People saying mean things.
Ray Gun's husband was not a...
At least you're not going to court tomorrow for saying mean things on the internet.
Judge on the battle that Ray Gun won that got her into the Olympics. Ray Gun did not found any bodies that were part of decision-making to put her in the Olympics. This is all not true.
It does in fact appear that Sammy the Free was in no way involved with Osprix. And it's unlikely that Ray Gun helped found it, although she was, in fact, she was positively profiled by the Osprix Facebook page less than 2 weeks after it was created, which is a little weird, kind of circumstantial.
So to qualify for the Olympics, Ray Gun had to win the Oceania Championship to then get put forward. Her husband had no involvement on that panel. She had no involvement with that organization. However, to get into the Oceanic Championship, there were a lot of other battles that Ray Gun had to win. And this is where it gets very suspect because there are some very familiar names that are judging on panels to get there. I'm going to Simulator explain this because he does a brilliant job and you should definitely check out his full video, which I will link below.
That judging process was done by an international panel of judges, none of whom work in Australia. But then, I found a research paper by Ray Gun, Dr. Rachel Gunn. I found a research paper by Ray Gun, Dr. Rachel Gunn, from 2014, called Breaking Down Dominant Conceptualizations of Place. 143 Liverpool Street Familia's engagement with the Downing Centre courts.
God, if you write papers with titles that are that long, I know you can't dance.
It turns out this building had its own sort of oceanic breakdancing Illuminati associated with it. Both Ray Gun and Sammy the Free were members. The judges of every preliminary battle that Ray Gun won to make it to the Oceanic Championships had at least one judge from 143 LSF, including, on at least one occasion, her husband.
So while, yes, her husband was not a judge on the final competition that Ray Gun won to make it to the Olympics, he was a judge on at least one of the competitions that got her to that particular competition, and in several other battles, people that she was friends with and had worked with before were judges on those panels. So while the big claim that most people repeat is absolutely provably false, it does seem that the spirit of the conspiracy lives on in reality when you have a look at who's judging the competitions that got Ray Gun through the steps to get to the Oceanic qualifier, which got her to the Olympics, and it would appear that some of these people may be her friends. Now, you might be thinking, well, just because some people that were judging know Ray Gun or were friends with Ray Gun, that doesn't mean that she didn't legitimately win all of her battles, because, this is like rap battling in Australia. It's a very small scene. Everybody knows everybody. It's pretty difficult to not have a mate on a judging panel, or at least somebody that you know peripherally on a judging panel. So maybe she did legitimately win. Luckily, we actually have footage of one of the battles that Ray Gun won that got her through to the Oceanic qualifying event that got her to the Olympics. Let's see who we think is the better breakdancer. This is Ray Gun versus Holy Molly.
I don't think she's doing anywhere near as good as that other girl, but whatever. Do you think it was a setup, or do you think they felt like maybe they had to pick her because she's like a doctorate in it and she's wrote all these things about like how she's biased against and they didn't want, all this flack? I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I've seen enough. I don't know who you think won that battle, but I've got a pretty strong opinion who did. And one of the judges of this event on day 2 was from
Professional
LSF,
courtesy, maybe.
Ray Gun appears to be intimately involved with. That's who she wrote her paper on, the LSF family. So that's pretty interesting, isn't it? So after...
Liver Street Pool Familia.
Winning this battle against Holy Molly, Ray Gunn ended up continuing on and eventually made it to the Oceanic qualifier, which she won, and that got her into the Olympics. Now, do you know who was a judge at the Olympic Oceanic qualifier that got her into the Olympics? Well, I'll let Flesh Simulator explain it to you.
You know who else was a member of 143 Liverpool Street Familia? The New Zealand breakdancer Rush, aka Te Hiratanga Robert Wikiha. You know what else he did? He was a judge on the panel for the Oceania World Championship.
One of 4 judges.
You know. It explains some stuff, doesn't it?
Now, of course, I'm not asserting that Ray Gunn cheated her way into the Olympics. Absolutely not. That would be defamatory. I don't think that at all. In fact, I completely disagree with everything that Flesh Simulator has said. What do you think? You probably disagree as well. Couldn't be true, could it?
All us judges talked about how she was going to get smashed. Absolutely smashed.
Now, I did some digging to see if Ray Gunn talked about knowing the judges at any...
All the judges talked about how she was going to get smashed at the Olympics. Why would you pick him?
In interviews, and I found this interview on The Project, bear with me, with Wiley Niley, bear with me, where she directly makes the claim that she did not know anyone on the
Comedians are always sweaty when they're up doing their thing.
Panel that selected her to go forward to the Olympics.
And did you know anyone who was involved in making the selection or any of the judges?
There were 9 judges, all from overseas. I don't think any of them have judged anything that I've been in before. I was, super nervous about it, to be honest, because even though I'd won all these competitions in Australia, I was nervous about winning this one because it was all new judges.
Is it just me, or did Ray Gunn sidestep the question there? Wiley directly asked her, did you know anyone on the judging panel? And Ray Gunn said, well, they weren't Australian, and they'd never judged me before, but she didn't answer the question, did you know them? Because as we know now, the guy Rush from New Zealand is a member of LSF, who Ray Gunn wrote an entire paper on.
That was a beautiful sidestep.
Who has also, LSF, on their Facebook page, 2 weeks after it was created, promoted Ray Gunn immediately. That seems like a little bit of a fib. You didn't know that guy at all, Ray Gunn? Now, of course, I'm not a breakdancer, neither is Flesh Simulator, so why don't we have a look at what actual breakdancers in the scene thought about Ray Gunn qualifying? In fact, why don't we go directly to the source? Let's have a look at what Rush, the judge that ended up qualifying Ray Gunn for the Olympics, said. All of us judges talked about how she was going to get smashed, absolutely smashed at the Olympics. She knew it was going to be rough, so it's actually courageous of her. Yeah, look, if the person...
So all the judges sat around and talked about how shitty she was and how bad she was going to lose at the Olympics, but you still voted for her? That's how she won?
We end up sending to the Olympics, who is supposed to be the best of the best of the best, is someone that the judges know is going to be absolutely trashed. Why are we sending them at all? Especially when you have a look at what some other, more talented breakdancers have said about not even getting the opportunity to qualify for the Olympics.
Fellow breakdancer Leah Clark has now revealed new details about how and why the selection pool was so shallow. Clark told The Guardian Australia that Ray Gunn qualified fair and square, but suggested she wasn't competing against the best breakers the country has to offer. According to Clark, the Oceania qualifying event took place too soon after it was advertised, meaning some breakers didn't even know it was happening, claiming there wasn't even enough B-girls to fill the top 16.
Yeah, look, this whole qualifying process seems to be bureaucratic hell, but someone with a PhD...
And there was a short pool to defeat. That seems planned.
She would be very well versed in navigating and would even excel in jumping through these bureaucratic hoops to be able to try out.
Clark also revealed breakers wanting to take part in qualifying had to register with 3 different organizations just to try out, and they also had to have a valid international passport.
When really, if we look at breakdancers in general, they usually come from marginalized communities.
I guess the international passport thing you could blame on the Olympics, right? Because you got to be, if we pick you and you're going to the Olympics, or to the next international judge, whatever.
They're a little bit outside on the fringe. They're not ever like well-educated private school, PhD-owning white ladies that are making their way to 40 years old. All right, it seems like the real talent in this country either didn't even know that these tryouts were happening or wouldn't be able to afford to enter them or couldn't navigate the bureaucratic process. And that is how we end up with situations like this.
Clark added that the fallout from Ray Gunn's performance has really affected her and other breakdancers. She said, how do I go to work now and try to get our sponsorship and get our grant money for breaking programs for a sport that's just been made a mockery of? And how do we...
Yeah, she hurt the sport for sure. Anytime someone in Australia hears a breakdancer, especially a female breakdancer, that's all they're going to think about.
Go out and represent our country at other world-level events when Australia's been made a fool of. This is actually affecting us on a much larger scale than just memes.
And there you have it. Other breakdancers in this country are just left feeling very disheartened. And it's disheartening when you see someone who doesn't have the skill or the talent level that you know exists in your industry go out there and compete at high-level events. It's embarrassing. We see this all the time in Australia. People getting put forward to compete or to be in the public eye that just aren't as good as the people around them that maybe don't check the right boxes to be able to fit on that stage. And you would think that someone who understands the culture of breakdancing in this country so well to the point they can write a whole PhD thesis on the idea of deterritorializing gender within it would know that maybe they weren't the most talented breakdancer in the country and would know that they're not the best representation of talent from Australia. But unfortunately...
And she can probably even say, like, she's the most well-versed on it, right? She's got a doctorate in it and shit. Like, she's good at that, but she doesn't have to be the best dancer. She shouldn't be representing Australia. That's for damn sure.
She doesn't think that at all.
Do you genuinely think you are the best female breaker in Australia?
Well, I think my record speaks to that. You know, I was the top-ranked Australian B-girl in 2020 and 2022 and 2023. I've been invited to represent at how many World Championships, Paris, Korea, you know, so the record is there.
That is such an awesome claim from a woman who competed with so few people in the official competitions that they almost didn't have enough to run it at all. They needed 16 women. They only had 15 show up to compete. I mean, yeah, if you hold like a heavyweight boxing title event and invite nobody and then go, oh, I'm the world champion by default, that doesn't mean you're the best boxer in the world. That just means that no one showed up to the competition that you and your mates put on because you didn't tell anyone about it. Allegedly, that's the claim, which I think is completely false, don't you? Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it. I'm Lewis Spears. Make sure you grab the parody poster. 20% of proceeds will go either to Ray Gunn or...
Lewis Spears, everybody. Check out Lewis Spears. He's pretty funny. He covers, like, social, political stuff. This is my favorite interview of Ray Gunn.
G'day, this is Ray Gunn. Listen, I need to just respond to a lot of the haters and the critics that have been coming at me and saying that I was not legit and I'm not a proper breaker. And I'm just going to say, just hold on a second. I am married to a coach who could see my talent. He's also an incredibly talented breaker. He could see my talent, and we worked so hard together to bring you moves such as the kanga and the 2-year-old toddler tantrum twist that I did all over the floor and everybody loved, you know. And I'm also a uni lecturer, and I wrote a paper about the cultural significance of breaking, and that makes me qualified. That's why my husband, who's on the select committee, helped get me selected, and it was totally legit and allowed. You know, all the mainstream media changed their minds. CNN, ABC, the minute I said I identify as a breaker, they were like, you're a victim, and they're haters. And I'm like, exactly. G'day,
Exactly.
This is Ray Gunn.
Makes perfect sense. And yes, for those of you that are wondering, I am being trolled relentlessly by this clip. Multiple people have sent it to me already. I get it. I understand.
I say oil, super southern one, oil. I don't even know how to say it like how to y'all. Oil, O-I-L. Yeah. I go motor oil, like tin full. I mean, Southern Community College, that should be mandatory that they fix that. They should write OIL on the board. And I just go, oh, they go, all right, we're going to take care of that, all right? There's a pretty good chance you're going to be working with a lot of that.
I didn't even know it was in tinfoil. I say that all the time.
Oh.
I've been tagged in this so many times over the last, I guess it got a lot of traction. I've probably been tagged in it, I don't know, 10 times over the last couple weeks. I saw this video, which is wild. Check this out. I think it's this one. Is that it? Going bungee jumping.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Bungee.
Not exactly.
I'm going to try that again, and this time when I shout bungee, you're going to go forward, okay? Take a nice deep breath. Look straight ahead.
Is it safe?
Yeah, you're all connected up, so look straight ahead. Right, and on my count, nice big dive. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Bungee.
Did you see him grab her? She pushes him, right? Which I bet they get a lot of. You have to like push people off. Thank God she's tied to the tower. He reaches back and grabs her to go with it. Look. No.
Looking out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I don't even know how I'm supposed to say it. Like, some words I say wrong, and I know it's just being Southern, and I can stop and pronounce it. I don't know how to say it. Oil? Oil? I don't know how to say it.
I'm going to try that again, and this time when I shout...
That's wild, dude. It explains why they're tied to the tower. I always thought it was because if they misstepped or hooking somebody up and slipped or whatever, but it's somebody drag them off.
Take a nice deep breath. Look straight ahead.
Is it safe?
Yeah, you're all connected up, so look straight ahead. Right, and on my count, nice big dive. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Full. Foil.
Looking out.
Oil.
Here we go. 3.
Motor oil. Castor oil. I don't know. I think it might be you guys. I just to be honest with you.
You all right, bud? Hey, I got you.
This dude's awesome. He stops and helps people and gets them started and teaches them.
Ready? We're gonna help spin this.
It's a feel-good story.
Ready? Hold on. Let's bring your knees together, okay? Like up and together, like this. And then I'll spin you. Hold on. Stay like that. And then we're gonna spin around. There we go. Yep. Uncross them. Here, I'll help you. I got you. Hey. Is that your brother? Are you dad?
Nope.
Ready? You want to push? Yeah.
I couldn't imagine taking your kids and they're like nowhere in sight. He obviously can't ski.
All right. Woo! Good job, man.
Stood and watched the entire time. Jesus Christ. Motor oil? What else? I don't know. Let's see. Where was the thing that I just saw? Oh, here it is. One for the road, then I got to go get in bed or at least try to go to sleep. I can't. I'm fucking wired, dude.
Patrick Bet David, the host of the PBD podcast, where I have appeared before, he had this little clip where he sort of learns that a lot of Trump's base doesn't like people like him and like me because we came here from another country. He explains, oh, I was getting feedback that was like, go back to Iran, even though I'm a Trump guy. I'm checking all the right boxes, but they still don't like me. Yes, this is a significant portion of the MAGA base. Listen, this is so funny. It's like he's learning in real time the people that he's chosen to associate himself with.
The tweets, I said, our founding fathers. A guy responds back and says, those are not your founding fathers. Guy posts a picture of the Shah of Iran, says, that's your founding fathers.
So funny.
But that tells you what, a part of this, there's a nationalist and there's white nationalists. White nationalists, Vinny, don't want people like us. I know. They just don't. White nationalists are a very different model. You view me as go back to Iran.
Yes.
Deport Elon back to, what do you call it, South Africa. Deport Vivek back to India, right? And you make those types of comments.
Yeah, even though Vivek was born here. Very good point.
Right. I don't think that's majority of America. I think that's less than 5%.
That is the far right.
America. Yeah, that's the far
nationalist.
Right.
He was also very upset that someone called him out for, basically he made all his money on an MLM, an insurance MLM, but still an MLM. He made a gigantic MLM and sold it off. That's how Patrick Bet David from Value Entertainment Broadcasting Show made all his money. And they called Vivek out on, basically, he made a ton of money buying up an Alzheimer's drugs that was failing all of its clinical studies. It passed 2 real quick. He put a bunch of hype on it and sold a shitty drug that never came to market.
That's the far right. And the far left wants open borders.
See, this is a classic thing. When they have no way to deny that there is this horrible, xenophobic, unsavory contingent in their movement, rather than just dealing with that, he goes, and on the far left, they want open borders. What does that have to do with anything? Whether it's true doesn't even matter. That's not the issue. That's not really what we're talking about here.
And let everybody come in here. Let's legalize everyone. The far right wants, if you're not a white nationalist, get the hell out of here. The problem here is you as a consumer not knowing the position.
Yeah, that's the base, bro.
The individual before they say it, and you think everyone is in that position. They're not. Not everyone's in that position.
Yeah. They also want me to go back to Argentina, right? I mean, it's like, this is not a new thing. It's shocking to me that he's acting as though it's news to him that this exists on his side, and it's not 5%. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's everybody. I mean, it's not PBD, right? We can say a lot of things that we would disagree about, and when I was on his show, we disagreed about tax policy, we disagreed about so many different things. But one of the things that is absolutely the case is that
I didn't even know David Pakman was born in Argentina.
He is not in this I should go back to Argentina thing, because it'd be kind of hypocritical if it were the case. Then maybe he should go back to Iran, right? He's not part of that. But pretending that that's only 5%. I mean, listen, if it's 5% of America, it's 17 million people. But that's if you consider the entire population, including kids, including people who don't even know to have positions on this. If you just say, well, what percentage of Trump voters is the kind of ultra-nationalist go back to group?
Thank you for the resubscription.
My guess, I don't want to overstate it.
Apparently he was it seems like, at least this little Wikipedia clip or whatever this is. Maybe he was famous in in Argentina. Hold on, I need to make sure. No, I'm sorry. He was born in 1984. He immigrated at the age of 5. I'm sorry. It read weird, but he immigrated here at the age of 5. He had he was born to a Jewish family, Ashkenazi even. Immigrated to the United States at the age of 5. He had the David Pakman Show, which is what he still calls his show. It was a television, radio, and internet political program. 2005, he began hosting a show on a local radio as a hobby. So local radio out of Massachusetts, it looks like.
But it's probably a third of the Trump electorate that's overtly part of that. And maybe there's another third that kind of dabbles in it. They probably wouldn't say it, but to a degree they think it. That's what it is. You know, we shouldn't overstate it and we shouldn't understate it. But
a third, I would say that could be accurate. A third is racist. A third, they weren't not going to come out and tell you, but they probably have some racist beliefs. And then maybe the other third is like, oh, I just love Trump.
Percent of America, yeah, I don't think so. So just kind of funny to see him realize, man, I'm part of a movement that would kick me out of the movement. Now, zooming out for a second, the purity test stuff, I believe it's a bigger problem on the left. I've said before, one of the reasons the right does win, and there's many reasons, right? I mean, at the congressional level, you've got gerrymandering, and there's no one explanation. But one of the things that hurts the left are the purity tests. The left seems to be sort of like motivated to some degree by who can we exclude from the movement because they don't check the right boxes. Of course, there's intolerance on the right, but it's more about, listen, they'll accept.
Well, even the fucking crazy racist white nationalists will use everybody for their vote, just like they use what's his name from Fresh and Fit in their spaces. But then they'll tell them to their face, like, hey, you know, once we get all the blacks and Mexicans out, or all the Democrats or all the illegal immigrants out, you got to go too.
Jewish people. They'll accept gay people. They'll sometimes accept trans people. They'll accept some Muslim people. They'll be skeptical. They won't love it, but they'll accept it as long as you mostly accept their views because they know that it just helps them win. The left is still hesitant on that, and the purity tests do plague the left. We'll talk about that with Cenk Uygur on Wednesday as well, given the sort of political journey he's currently on.
So this all came out today. There's another clip where he's saying he's got to have a talk with Cenk, and they're going to, I guess on Wednesday, they're going to be on
the show today. One of her final official acts for Vice President.
And yeah, I think that's it, guys. I got to go try to get some sleep. I haven't been able to sleep or eat or nothing. I'm nervous about fucking, I don't know, court, I guess. Either way, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Support the show while we're offline if you want to at coldbeer.fund. Get us over this hump. Hopefully when the warm weather gets here, we can open the campground, road gets fixed, everything goes back to normal, I hope. If not, we'll have to do something different, but we'll figure it out. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Love to see you. Bye. Hopefully I can update you more about court tomorrow, but I can at least do like a, hey, we're out, kind of deal. But there's a chance that it just gets pushed back and my manifesto must remain private. There's a chance that anything could happen. The current order could stay in place. It could be rescinded. It could be thrown out. We just have to see when we get there. So we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See you on the next one. Shitty weather, but we're going to be there no matter what. We'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. Coldbeer.fund if you want to support the show. We greatly appreciate it. It's a manifesto at this point. I've spent 6 hours on documenting everything, so it's definitely a manifesto. I kind of enjoyed putting it all together, researching it, having somebody proofread it for me.
And tell them exactly.
I sent it to the lawyer. They were very impressed.
You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know.
I wish I had time to like do like Destiny does, the real in-depth research and put the documents out in a crowd sourced way to where people can read it and add to it and help with it, and then have a document for debates, like the ultimate document he did on Gen 6 and shit. I'd like to do that one day. Anyways, have a good night, guys. Love you. See you. Bye.
Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it."